Hi, and welcome to our series on navigating the holidays. I'm Pam Wool. I'm the Director of Family Services at Gender Spectrum.
And I'm Lisa Kenny, Executive Director at Gender Spectrum.
So we are doing a three-part series on getting ready for the holidays. This first part is on sharing information with family and friends. So this is, for parents and caregivers to help prepare. Part two is specifically about preparing your child for the experience of holidays. And then part three is going to be about toys and gift giving. So we wanted to start out with the family and friends. We know that, from our experiences working with parents, that as amazing and fun as holidays can be.
They can also be, they can take a downturn, especially if there's some things going on and families are working through some issues, and including around a child's gender. And so that's one of the things that we want to talk about today. We know there's a lot of anxiety around this issue. We certainly get these questions every year and work with parents around this issue. So we thought we should just do this little series and sort of give people some real great tools as you get ready to enter into the holiday season. So Pam, the biggest question I think we always get is, okay, if my child is newly expressing their gender or has a gender identity that they, that's going to become clear in some way or another, or that they want to share at a family event, how do you do that if nobody sort of knows what's going on? Maybe it's just something you all have been working on internally within your family. And what do you do? How do you share that? I think that's probably the biggest question we get when families are going through this at this time of the year.
Right.
And so we've got a couple things that we really recommend. One of them certainly is, one of the issues that comes up is, should I, just tell my kid, hey, listen, not now.
Right.
Like, let's just put this off. And, what do you have to say to that?
Well, I think that a lot of parents feel like if they are unsure about their extended family or friends being accepting of their child, they think that they're protecting their child by saying, oh, just don't wear that, or let's not tell them, that's something we're going to keep in our immediate family. Yeah. And I think the bottom line is that's, even if it's coming from a place of love, that's not really protecting them. In the long run, it can really be a hurtful message to them, and that instead the strategy should be to help prepare the scene, the setting, prepare the other people, and prepare your child for them to kind of be their true self.
And one thing that really goes a long way on that is what you can do in advance of the get-together can really make all the difference. And one of the things that we really want to remind everybody about is that, you and your family might have had some time to think about this and educate yourselves and learn some things about gender that you didn't know before. Everybody comes to this discussion with, all the messages we have about sort of only two genders and that, it's just, it's whatever you were sort of assigned at birth. And so, that's where we start. And the rest of it then is where we go after that. And so lots of people in your family may have no idea beyond that, and understandably so. So one of the things that we recommend that I think can be helpful, and we certainly get the feedback that it is how do you prepare people? Part of that is give them some information in advance. Right. Some of the things, the resources and things that you've found and helpful as a parent, share some of those things and let them know, and give them some time to begin to think about this and digest this information before they see your child, because we really want to help ensure that the first time the family is interacting with your child, it's really a positive thing
for your
kid. And so so this really can go a long way by doing that.
Exactly. The idea is to set it up for success as much as you possibly can. And one way a lot of people do that is by writing an email or a letter ahead of time.
Sure, yep.
Obviously it depends on how you communicate with your family. You might want to call some certain people. You might want to just do an email or a letter. But it's important, one of the main things to think about when you do that is that you're setting the tone.
Right, absolutely. Yep.
People in your family will really follow your lead more than you even might realize, right?
Right,
so,
exactly.
So if your tone is like, we're supportive of our kid, we expect you to treat them with respect and kindness, regardless of your internal feelings, we expect you, that will go a long way.
It goes a long way. And it's a good reminder, too, that it doesn't have to be a heavy thing. You're letting them know. Just like other family members let you know about things that they're dealing with their kids. It's information about your child.
It could really be a joyous thing. Like your child might be very excited, to be
exactly.
there as, and showing themselves and excited to, see relatives, and
Right.
it really doesn't have to be a negative.
That's right.
Um,
I mean, the power of being seen as you are by the people that you love, I mean, that's a very powerful thing for all of us, right? I mean, it's certainly powerful for your child, and it's an opportunity for your family to affirm them in a way that nobody else really can. I mean, it really goes to the core of who we are to have that. So I think it's just a wonderful thing, and to be able to communicate that, that's really part of it. And of course, your family members might have questions. That's really natural and common. I think we often really recommend that you provide a way for them to interact with you. So you certainly don't want to do that when your child is around. So either maybe again a call ahead of time, or a private conversation at the gathering, if that's possible. Sometimes that's not, because it's a little bit too crazy with family and everything around. But either way, to find a time for them to voice any questions they have, or whatever they're thinking about, but to do so with you privately,
Right.
And not with your child.
And that's
around.
one of the things you can make really clear in your, communication ahead of time, is that, of course, you can talk to me about this, but we're not going to have those conversations in front of my child, and we're not going to, please don't ask me and bring anything up in front of my kid.
Yeah.
So, and what else? So basically be kind and respectful. Behavior, it comes down to kind of expectations about behavior.
Well, so let's say, what do we mean by that? I mean, I think it's really important to let your family members know what you expect in terms of how they're going to interact with your child. It's a vulnerable thing for your child. I mean, especially if this is the first moment where they're going to be their authentic selves with people. And it's just essential that go well, and to let people know that that's the expectation. And as a parent, you really have that responsibility. You've got to protect them. It's just, they're more at risk because it's an open thing, because it's their family, because there's so many things going on. We've got to make sure that we really create a safe space for them.
So if you have specific asks, like, please use this pronoun, please use this name, please don't comment on their, make a negative comment about their hair, their clothes, whatever.
Nobody's saying more than they already they already do. Treat them the same as the way they always have.
But really be as specific as as you talk to your kid ahead of time, and what it is that they want to happen. Just be really specific in your asks,
right,
so that people are clear about what it is you want them to do. Because most people love your kid, right, and are going to want to do things that make your kid feel good.
Right.
And then another thing is, if people are feeling uncomfortable, and you are, help people remember that your kid is more than their gender.
Yeah, right. They're the same kid.
Yeah.
They're the same kid. You just happen to have some information about them that you may not have had, and that they may or may not even have had about themselves as they come to understand themselves, or had a language for it, right? But all of that is separate from the fact that it's still the same kid. They're still the same person with the same loves and the same interests and the same fears and all the same stuff that they've already been.
Right.
And so just remembering that they're more than their gender, and that who they know that child to be is still the same. We are, in our essence, who we are. The rest of the stuff is just our maturing and figuring the rest of it out as we go along.
Right. And I think, too, like, your attitude, like, of yourself, like preparing yourself, remember, like, you don't have anything to be ashamed of. You're not going in apologetically. You're going in, right, not feeling like there's anything wrong with your child or your family. And that kind of attitude and confidence will really, can also set the tone. And then what else?
I think the really the last thing that I really want to make sure is that, every parent's thinking about how are they getting support. Family gatherings like this can be challenging anytime in any circumstance, regardless of this. But especially when you are trying to manage this communication with your family on behalf of your child, or with your child, and we'll talk about that in the next segment.
That's a hard word, yeah.
So anyway, I think that's really the thing, is think it through in advance, get support for yourself beforehand, get support for yourself afterwards, and really try to do all you can to set this up to work as well as possible for your child, for yourself, and for your family.
Yeah.
And it happens brilliantly lots and lots of times. So
Yeah.
please don't let fear be your guide. Let love be your guide, as is always good advice, but particularly in this case, assume that love will win the day, and that really what people need is just information, education. And once they have that, then they can show up in the love that they want to be for your child and for your family. So we hope that that's what the holidays will bring this year. And if you're interested in sort of hearing more about how to work with your child or prepare your child for this family event, then listen in to our next segment. And we're really happy that you joined us today.
Yeah, and also just opportunities for support if you don't already have that in your
Great.
circle. We have the Gender Spectrum Lounge, which has lots of different groups for parents, and that's a perfect place to kind of ask questions, find out how other people did it. And then we also have our national support group, which you can definitely join. Just write to info@genderspectrum.org if you're not already a member, and that's a great opportunity to talk to other parents.
Yeah. And we have a Spanish-speaking parent national call-in support group, as well as a English-speaking.
That's right. And we also have on our website some sample language that might help you write some of your letters. So, yeah, please use those resources.
Yeah.
And happy holidays.
Happy holidays! Yay! I love the holidays. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Hi, Carlos here. To keep the conversation going, make sure you join the Gender Spectrum Lounge at genderspectrum.org/lounge. We hope to see you there.